about shoulder pain and mobility and how we're going to connect the two. So poor shoulder mobility limits key lifts such as presses and rows, compensating by arching your back or flaring your elbow. For mobility is we want to have improved alignment, reduce tension, and lower the risk of injury. Restore pain-free range of motion, which will equal stronger, better lifts. These specific exercises target pain-causing areas, which we're going to build stability and regain control. And these exercises are what I have my clients do all the time so that they can work on having better shoulder alignment for their lifts. Now, before we get started, you're going to need a few props. So definitely a yoga mat, a wall, a strap, and I do recommend a yoga strap because we're going to use this in a couple ways. A pair of socks. You can also use hand towels, and then lastly, you want your chair or something like that. So I'm going to move this over for a moment. Now, you're going to set this up. You can pause this video for a moment because this is going to be essential for another pose that we're going to do, another exercise. And it's very specific because I really want you to get the full benefit of the mobility drill that we're going to do. So you're going to take the D-ring in the center and you use your fingers, because if you use your hand, you're taking up space and it's not going to give you an accurate assessment. So use your fingers and place it shoulder to shoulder, the D-ring in the center, and that's about where you want to be for your shoulder distance. Any smaller, it's going to be too tight, and then you're not going to get the full range of motion when we do this drill. And then also, if it's too wide, it's the same thing. Your elbows are going to flare, which we just mentioned earlier. You don't want that to happen. So have this ready. You can just pause this, have this set up, because then you're going to use it in a moment. So the first drill we're going to do, you're going to take the strap, come up to stand, and you want to keep tension in the strap. And I recommend going pretty wide. And if you don't have a strap, you can use something else like a broom or a dowel, but try the strap because it's going to give you good feedback, especially maintaining the tension throughout. So going pretty wide, and you want to stand tall, keep the bottom ribs in and down because it's going to be very easy to compensate. Like I said, arching the back, rib flare, we don't want that. We want that integration so that you get the full range of motion and the stretch, and we'll review that. So you're going to start here and then reach the arm up and then go overhead, keeping the tension all the way down. Make sure it doesn't slack at the bottom, okay? And then back up and over. And go slow, take your time, keeping the tension. Maybe you have to bring your arms a little bit wider, and then back around, and we'll do one more. Keeping the tension, so you're stretching the shoulders, you're getting into the chest, you're really creating that motion and that movement in the shoulder girdle. All right, and then release, and just take a moment and roll out your shoulders. Okay, we're going to use the strap in a moment because you might need it, and it really depends on your mobility, your shoulder mobility from one side to the other. So I'm going to show you the first part. So you're going to take the arm up and bend and reach behind and grab the fingers. Now I'm going to turn around and show you what this looks like. So you're going to try and grab the fingers and hold together. Okay, so in this position, you want the elbow up, the elbow down, and you want to hug into the midline. So you're stretching your tricep, you're getting into the chest, and you're releasing tension in the shoulders. Standing tall, make sure there's no rib flare, no arch in the lower back, and stay with your breath. Now, something that also comes up is that the elbow will start to fall forward, pushing into the head, and then it kind of takes away what you're trying to do. So you really want to work on keeping the elbow up and the tension between the palms. However, if you are not reaching the palms, let me just show you the other side for myself. Almost there, but not quite. You can also hold on to fabric that's not working right now. So I really recommend using the strap, and it doesn't stretch, so that's going to give you an accurate assessment and work on getting that stretch and that opening in the chest and in the shoulders. So taking the arm up and then the other arm. So internally rotate, thumb down, and I'll show you from here. So this is where you start, and then start to walk the fingers, palms toward each other and pulling, keeping the tension in the strap. Elbow up, elbow down, bottom ribs in and down, and breathe. And just notice how it feels with the strap. Maybe you need it for both sides. And if you feel any pinching in the shoulder, especially the bottom shoulder, release the strap. Don't try and get your palms too close together. Give yourself time to get into the position. And that's what we're working towards. This whole session is all about that. Okay, release, give yourself a moment, and roll out the shoulders, especially if you're feeling a lot of sensations. Okay, now the next part that we're going to do is you're going to grab your socks. Now the socks are going to seem a little silly, but they actually work really well. You can use a towel if you want. So this is where the strap, you're going to place the strap on just above your elbows like that. And try and have the D-ring in the middle just so it doesn't like pinch your skin, because it does hurt. And then you're going to put the socks on your palms. And now remember, I want you to think about keeping good body alignment, torso, posture. Really think on that mobility so that there's no compensating with, arching your back, sticking out your butt, and facing the wall. And you're pushing into the strap. That's why you don't want it to be a stretchy band or anything. And the thumbs, you can't see my thumbs, but the thumbs are pointing toward me. And you're trying to stand the distance of your upper arm. So from here, draw the bottom ribs toward the hips. You're not sticking out your butt. Draw the tailbone down. Energize your legs. Push into the strap and slowly start to slide up. And then slide back down. So you're really getting it into the upper back, the shoulders, pressing into the strap, going slow and controlled as you slide. And let's go for one more. Good. And then you can release, you can take off the socks into a kneeling position. And you might need, no, you won't need a strap for this, but every time I do this with clients, lots of times it's not just the shoulders that are restricting, it's the pecs. They really are just too tight to actually even get into the position. So I'm going to show you what the actual position looks like, and then I'm going to give you 2 different options to try. But I want you to try everything, okay? See where you are at before you make an assessment or a judgment. So the first thing, arms wide and cross the elbows and then bend and bind. And I'm going to turn to the side a little bit so you can see. So the elbows are stacked, the arms are bound, and you want the forearms perpendicular to the floor. You're getting a big protraction, stretch across the back into the rear delt. However, if the pecs are tight, this is almost impossible to get into. And you definitely want to switch the arms. So the other option might not be the best one, but I want you to try it. Same thing, cross again. And instead of going for the bind, you're just going to have the back of the palms together. And I just turn to the side so you can see me a little bit better. This still might not be great, even though it's a little bit more accessible. So the last thing you can do, I'm going to keep turning so that you can see different angles, is that you're going to take the arms wide, cross the elbows, and hold on to the rear delts. Keep the arms and the elbows lifted, shoulder, chest level, and you're trying to pull the palms apart, keep the elbows stacked and lifted. I'll turn to the side so you can see. No arching, no compensating. Draw the tailbone down and try and pull the arms and the elbows apart and breathe into that upper back. You really need your breath to start creating space and releasing that tension, that buildup. We're trying to go to new ranges of motion as we're working on our shoulder mobility. And just look straight ahead, stay with your breath. And we'll stay with this one. Slide the arms apart, open wide, give yourself a pec stretch, And now switch to the other side. Cross the elbows, hold on to the delts, your delts, and then try again. Pull the elbows apart, keep the arms lifted, chest level, and notice if there's a difference on this side. Does it feel harder, easier, or there's nothing wrong? There's nothing going on. Draw the tailbone down and notice what's going on. Staying with your breath, keep energy pulling apart, and slowly release, and just roll out the shoulders. Okay, now, the next one, you might need a block. So when you're in this position, the forehead is going to be down, and I'm telling you now because the mic is probably going to get cut a little bit, a little fuzzy. Definitely take care of yourself. Grab a block so that you're supported, because you don't want to strain your neck or any other area just to get into position. So do yourself a kindness, grab a block if you need it, or a pillow, but a block is a little bit more stable. So you're going to bring your forehead to the floor. I'm going to bring this mic to the floor so you can hear me a little bit better. Forehead to the floor, interlace the palms at the back of the head. And make sure that you're sitting on your sit bones, your butt to your heel. If you're not there, then you can place a pillow or a blanket folded underneath, just so you have the really good position to work on. Okay, so forehead down, and then from this position, palms are interlaced back of the head, and just slowly start to lift the elbows up and lower, and lift the elbows up and lower, and one more. Lift the elbows up and lower. And then slowly come up. Put my mic back on. And that might take time, so I just want you to give yourself some grace as you work through it. Okay, you use the chair. It's better for padding. If you don't have padding, I recommend putting a folded blanket or towel, because if you have bony elbows, it doesn't feel great. Now, again, if you're tight in the shoulders and you're lacking that mobility and you have that pain and tension, your body's going to rush to compensate. So I really want you to get a productive stretch and opening. So I want you to think about a posterior pelvic tilt, which might seem very difficult when you're in it. So placing the elbows on the edge of the chair, and you might have to go to the very edge. Palms together. Push the palm and the fingers. Like this. Not like that. This engagement. Okay, and then walk your knees back and start to lower your chest and your head through pressing the elbows. And then instead of arching your back, I want you to draw the tailbone down so you get a much more productive stretch in the lats, in the triceps, in the shoulder girdle. And your head is free, hopefully. It really depends on, the length of your neck and the rest of your spine. And your nose is facing the floor. Keep drawing the tailbone down so there's no compensation. And very slowly press the elbows down to draw yourself up and through. And you can roll out the shoulders. Hopefully, that felt nourishing for you. Okay, all right. Now we're gonna remove the chair and continue on the mat. Just come onto your belly, so place the palms. You can start in plank and lower yourself down. And the lower part of your body, your legs and feet, are gonna stay on the mat. I want you to think about the alphabet. Now, I changed the order of this just so it kind of flows a little bit better. There are always many variations to specific drills and exercises. So this is just my take on it, because I just feel like it's a little bit more in sync. And this is what I do with my clients. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is reach the arms forward, thumbs up. So the nose face the floor. I'm gonna take my mic so you can hear me a little bit better. Nose face the floor. Inhale and lift just the upper body into I. Keep the feet and legs down and lower down. Move the arms wide into a Y position. Inhale and exhale, lift up into your Y. and lower down. Okay, and now from this position, bring your arms out into a T shape, shoulder level. Inhale and exhale, lift and squeeze the shoulder blades. Retract the scapula in your T position and lower down. Come back to the I and we're going to make it into a W. Inhale, exhale, lift, thumbs toward each other, bend elbows toward the ribs and squeeze. Retract the scapula. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And reach forward, lower down. Okay, the last one. Now, this could be a challenge if you have the tightness in your pec, but I still want you to try it. And if you do feel that, you might just want to cross the arms a lot less. So we're going to try and cross the arms a little bit stronger for the full benefit, really strengthening the shoulder girdle and getting that engagement. So take the right arm across to the corner and then the left arm. So you're stacking the upper arms kind of above the elbow and then reaching the fingers out and laying your chin on the top arm. So you're energetically reaching out, you're in protraction, so you're trying to get that broadness against the upper back. Staying with your breath. Now, like I said, if you're tight in the chest, maybe cross just the forearms. And try not to let the right side, so my right arm is down first, try not to let the right side tilt, so if you can keep your shoulders and chest center of your arms. And then slowly release, and now let's do the left and the right on top. And even just switching the position of which arm is on top could be a very different experience. So do your best to finesse being in the position and reaching the arms out. Staying with your breath, lower the chin down. Breathe into that upper back, that protraction. And again, slide out and draw yourself up. And you can just come into a kneeling position and roll out your shoulders. Just rolling out the shoulders and just making sure you reverse the direction. Okay. So these exercises, you can do all of them or you can do some of them, but I recommend doing as many as you can, especially if you're in pain right now, because these exercises are to help you be able to work through the pain, change that position, and be able to lift with confidence, improve your posture into getting into better lifts without pain. So you can start right now taking care of it and really getting your trajectory in the right path without the limitation of pain. I'm Janelle DeRoss, your coach, to show you how mobility isn't just about moving better. It is the key to getting better with your lifts, getting stronger with your lifts, reducing injury, and reaching those PRs, hitting those goals for your gains. And the best thing you can do is keep progressing forward. So you can click the link below. I have a 7-day mobility reboot with simple exercises and drills to help you with mobility for your shoulders. All you have to do is get started. Click the link below and hopefully I will see you there.